Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. I'm just going to share today's lesson online and we can then begin. Okay, one moment. Got two people already. Let me know who's watching. Share and there we go. Great. Okay. So today's lesson is top. Sorry, I need to drink actually. It's all-time favorites, comparatives and superlatives. So that's what we are going to be talking about today. Leondina says hi, Richard. Hi, Leondina. Jana says hello, Richard. And LVS.com also says hello. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Thank you for joining. So in this video, we are going to talk about our favorite on a number of different topics. Actually, we're going to compare and describe and talk about our favorites from whether it's to do with travel, sport, film, music. So we're going to do a few different topics. And as a result, we should be able to practice some comparatives and superlatives as well. Okay, Evelina says hello. Hello, Evelina. Welcome to today's program. It's a glorious day today. The weather's hot. I can't see. I don't think there's a cloud in the sky. It seems like a really nice day to be outdoors. Paolo says hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Hi, Paolo. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's lesson. Arena says good afternoon. Good afternoon, Arena. Okay, guys. So as we go along, we'll look at some comparatives. We'll look at some superlatives as well. We're going to start off. I'll start off talking about travel, and then from there we can go into other things. Sport, for example. Sport is always a good one when you're talking about the your top 10 or all-time favorites. Same with movies and music as well. We'll give people a few more minutes and then we'll begin. Let me know how you guys are today. How are you, Leondina? How are you, Jana? How are you, LVS.com? Evelina, Paolo, and Irina? Let me know how you guys are. And anyone else who might be watching. I can, at the end of the lesson, I'll tell you also about my personal top 5. Probably, yeah, I'll try and give you my top destinations where to go in Malta to swim as well. I'll put that in there as well. Oksana, hello. Good afternoon to you too. Okay, guys, so let's begin. We'll start off, we'll just come out with our favorites and then we'll go from there. So we'll start off with travel. I'm going to tell you about, I'm going to give you my top 5 favorite places I have ever been to. And then you guys can do the same as well. And then we'll look at language that we can use to talk about it and describe and compare. So straight away, I would say the top, now we can do this, okay? We can say in no so we can say in no particular order, okay? In no particular order, which means if I say in no particular order, it means I'm not saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just saying 5 places. I'm not actually going to say which is my favorite place necessarily. I'm just going to say what my top 5 places are to begin with. And then I'll think about which is my favorite place. And I invite you guys to do this as well. So I'll start off, and then in the live chat area, just let me know about what your top 5 places are that you have visited. Stefano says, good afternoon, dear teacher. You too, Stefano, you too. Okay, so my top 5 places that I've been to, I'm going to rank it in terms of um, a few things. Okay, so when we rank, it means how we order. So I'm going to rank things in terms of, okay, beauty. Let's go with that. Okay, beauty is how I'm going to rank things. So a rank is from top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's what I mean by a rank. Okay, so you can say rank it from 1 to 5. Okay, so number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. So but in no particular order. So I'm just going to name 5 places. I would say, okay, I have to put New Zealand, Argentina, Argen, Argentina, Peru. Have to put the Galapagos, Galapagos, and oh, what's the 5th one? For me, I have a choice between Alaska or Australia. Okay, I'm going to go with Australia. Okay, at the moment we're just talking about countries, I think. But then there's Italy. I can't name my 5. Australia, but Italy's amazing. I've already got New Zealand from down under, so I'm going to go with Italy, okay? All right, I'm going to put Italy in there. That's to start off with countries. So those are my top 5 countries that I have visited. Let me know in the chat section what your top 5 countries are. In terms of order, I would say, I think New Zealand is the most beautiful, is the most beautiful country I've ever been to. So in this case, I'm using a superlative, okay? NZ for short. New Zealand is the most beautiful country I have ever been to. In terms of nature, beauty in terms of nature, I would say the Galapagos is the most, instead of beautiful, I'm going to use a different word. I'm going to use stunning, which is very similar, is the most stunning place I have been to for wildlife. So yes, those would be that would be my example in terms of beauty, as that's the category I'm talking about. And then if I want to use a comparative, I could say something like I could say both Argentina and Peru have amazing mountains, but I thought the mountains in Peru had more trees, for example. So that would be another type of comparison here. I'm comparing two places, very well, they're very close to each other, and the mountain range starts off all the way up in like Colombia and Ecuador, works its way down. But I noticed that the mountains in Peru had more trees than in in Argentina, but both set of mountains are stunningly beautiful. Leondina says Italy, Australia, Thailand, Greece, and Austria. Okay, thank you very much, Leondina. So you have told me your top 5 places. Let me know any similarities or any major differences for you? Which one might be your favorite? If I were to rank places in terms of food, on the other hand, my answer would be a little bit different. Evelina says Japan, America, Australia, Ireland, and instead of Scottish, I'd go Scotland. Okay, Scottish is the person is Scottish, but the person is from Scotland. So you need to use the not the nationality, but the name. Scotland is a beautiful place. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the whole of the UK. I mean, if I were to say what are my favorite places in the UK, I would say, in terms of countryside, oh, actually, no, I can't say that. That's really difficult. But definitely the Highlands and Scotland could be number one. Evelina says, okay, all right. Actually, I will tell you guys in terms of best. I think if we were to talk about food, Italy would be number one, okay? For food, Italy, number two. I would actually go with Peru for number two with food. I'd then put France in third. Um, Australia in fourth. And in fifth, I would say, where would I say fifth? Hard one, actually. Not sure about the fifth one. I mean, look, the best steak in the world was that I've ever had was in Argentina. But you know what? I'm going to surprise everyone here, and I'm going to go with the UK. The UK does have a lot of good food. People don't think of it being a place for food, but the UK does have a lot of very good food. Irina says, my top places, Malta, Greece, Ukraine, Monaco, and France. Nice choices. Very nice choices, Irina. So let's get into some language in terms of comparisons and that sort of thing. Well, I would say this, okay. We can start off by when it comes to, so that way we can introduce the subject that we are comparing things on. So when it comes to culture, for example, we could say, for instance, we could say when it comes to culture, the South, let's go with Ecuadorian, okay? So the Ecuadorian culture is more colorful. More colorful than the UK's. And that is obvious. that is definitely the case. So when we talk about colorful, we're talking about music, we're talking about dance, we're talking about even the presentation of food, the streets, the art. It's a very colorful place. So that's how we can that's how we can go about making the comparison like that. Stefano says, in terms of culture and food, if I had to rank top 5 favorite countries, I would go for Italy at the top, then Greece and some others, but Italy remains the top. Evelina says, for food, Italy, Japan, Japanese, and Tunisian. Okay, if you're going to go with that, then make sure Italy is Italian as well, Evelina, because Italy is the name of the country, but the type of food is Italian. Okay, Stefano, in terms of your ranking, look, I think Italy is a hard country to beat. It's a very hard country to beat because you've got incredible food. I mean, the food in Italy is just amazing because the great thing about it is it doesn't need to be expensive to be really tasty. I think that's one of the big differences between Italy and France. You find a lot of really good food in France, but France usually, in my experience, the food in France is more expensive. But Italy, for instance, even as something as simple as a pizza, and the pizza might be the best type of food ever made, um, ever created. But then on top of that, you've got the wine, and Italian wine is amazing. It really is absolutely gorgeous. And then you've got, I mean, just name your places. In fact, try and name your top places in Italy. What would my top three destinations in Italy be? Oh, I like this one actually. Oh, that's a difficult one. Let me know in the live chat section. What are your top three favorite places in Italy, ranking from first to third? Um, I'm gonna have to think about that. That's a hard one. That is a very hard one to do. Leondina says Italy is the place where I live, and I think it's fabulous. Australia is the most stunning country I have ever been. Uh, Two, because of its nature and animals. So really close there, Leondina. Irina says the atmosphere in Malta is more joyful than in Ukraine, so I like to be here. I don't blame you. The Maltese atmosphere in the summer, especially, is really good. I agree. I think Malta has a really good atmosphere in the summer. Paolo says, okay, Paolo's come out with his top three places, favorite places in Italy. He's gone with Florence. I have to say, you have the same number one spot as me, and that is Florence. Florence is probably my favorite city in the entire world that I have been to. I'm lucky. I've been to a lot of cities across different continents, but there is something very special about Florence. Venice and then Rome. Oh man. Now you see, I have been to Venice and I've been to Rome. If I had to say which one I prefer Rome just because there are so many tourists in Venice. I think it comes down to the size of the place and the number of tourists. I think if anything, I would say there's too much tourism in Venice, if I'm being honest. I think there's too much tourism in Venice. It's such a fantastic place, but all you see are people. You just see too many people. Evelina says Florence, Milan, and Taormina is lovely. Taormina is a lovely, lovely place. I completely agree. For those of you who don't know, Taormina is in Sicily. It's about a day's journey from Malta, so you can get there in a day from Malta. Milan, Milan. The center of Milan is very nice. The outskirts of Milan, I didn't think the outskirts of Milan were amazing. I think my top three favorite places might be. I think I would have to go with Venice. No, not Venice. Sorry, Firenze. Definitely Florence. Then Rome. And then I'm including the Vatican in the Rome. I'm including the Vatican in Rome. My third one might be. I have to say, I do like Verona. I think Verona is a really nice place, actually. So that might be my top three places. I can tell you what my top three places are in the United Kingdom as well. I'll tell you that later. Stefanos says, ranking from the first to the third, I bet the most gorgeous city to visit for the culture and art are Florence, Turin, and Rome. Yeah, I think that's a hard one to beat. It is. This is it. Italy's a really difficult country to beat when it comes to culture, when it comes to art and food and wine. But I have to say, I was impressed in South America. I think Peru has a lot of places that are fantastic. It's got great food. The culture is really interesting. The Inca culture is really, really interesting, I have to say. And there's some really colorful places throughout the whole of South America. The art, it is different. The art, everything is different about it, but it's really nice. I think it's really good. Irina says, I have been in Italy, in Venice. Okay, to Italy. I've been to Italy, in Venice. I've been to Italy. Okay, so I've been to Italy and I've been to Venice, Sicily, it is interesting. Um, it is interesting. We'll know about Florence. Okay, I think. Am I right there, Irina, in thinking you mean you will go to Florence in the future? Okay, so we've had some good conversations already about that. I would say the so here we're looking at let's move on to the next topic actually, and we'll just talk about we'll see what sort of adjectives you can use and and use to compare and stuff like that. So now we're going to move on to something slightly different. I think a good one to move on to at this point would be films. I'm going to name my favorite films, and then you guys can tell me about your favorite films. And I'll put in some adjectives, comparatives that we can use as well. So, top in no particular order. Okay. Uh, Favorite films. Okay, Gladiator is going to have to be there because Gladiator is just brilliant. That is a brilliant, brilliant film. Lord of the Rings. I think I'm going to have to put Casino Royale actually from James Bond. That's a really good movie. Um, I mentioned it. I told someone about this the other day, but I can't remember all of the films that I mentioned. I think I'm also going to go with. Oh, what else will I go with? Rocky. One of the Rocky films. Maybe Rocky 3. Rocky 3 is really good. Rocky 3 or Rocky 4. And if I had to say one more, I'm going to go with an English film called With Nail and I. Okay, so those would be my favorite films. Let me know in the chat section what your favorite films are. So now just to explain, I'm just going to put some adjectives out there. So so first of all, I'm going to go in with a superlative. I think Gladiator is the most epic movie. Epic is a really big movie. Sorry. Epic is when think about everything that's big. It's a big film. The story is big. The music is big. It's loud. It's in your face. It's a really good storyline. I think if I had to think of a perfect film, I think Gladiator might be the perfect film. It's got a fantastic, it has a fantastic soundtrack, um, great acting, um, gripping, which is really interesting storyline, um, and from start to finish, everything is good. So that's what I would say. Um, Paolo says, I am Legend, Lord of the Rings, and Harry Potter. Okay, so we've now got two people already who says Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is another epic movie. And if I had to say what is the perfect trilogy for a movie series, it would be Lord of the Rings. I think Lord of the Rings is simply just brilliant. Love the development of the story. The book is obviously fantastic. But I think the producers of Lord of the Rings did a great job at bringing the book to life. This is a really good one to know. When you have films like Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, they take a story from a book and they try to take what's in the book and put it into film. And that is what we call bringing a book to life. And I think Lord of the Rings, I think they did a really good job at trying to bring the book to life. Um, Everything about it is very good. I think the Nazgul, the Ring Raiders, the guys in black were done brilliantly. I think Gollum is fantastic. They got Gollum spot on, really good. Evelina says Gladiator, Avatar, and Titanic. Okay, so three big movies there, Evelina. Leondina says, I love Lord of the Rings. I think it is the most epic movie. I think, you know what, it is in, I think we have to think about it. I think it is in that conversation. It is an epic movie. Stefano says, so is Titanic. That's really epic. Yep, Titanic is an epic movie. I would say the greatest film ever released in terms of budget, story, and costumes and furnishings. Stefano, I have to say, some good English there. And I like the fact you mentioned one or two reasons why you think it's a really epic movie. So well done there. I think there's a lot of good things about what you've just written there. Okay. Yeah, I think Titanic is one of those films where for its time. I think when they made the film, it certainly was. It was talked about a lot. I knew about Leonardo DiCaprio before Titanic because I had first seen him in a film called Romeo Must Die. But I think Leonardo DiCaprio has. I like how I've liked him more as he has got older. As he has gotten older. So the older he's gotten, I think the better an actor he has become. Um, Paolo says for sure the last movie of Lord of the Rings is the most amazing one. You just need one at the end there, Paolo. Yeah, that's a strong call, actually. Um, I think if I were to talk about a particular director, Tarantino, I like Tarantino a lot. And if I had to say my three favorite, or I would say the three best Tarantino films, which is not an easy one to do, I think Django Unchained, Pulp Fiction, and in Glorious Bastards would be my top three. It's difficult to choose because you've got Reservoir Dogs, you have the Hateful Eight, you have the Kill Bill series. So I think that's a hard one to choose from a director, a specifically director. But yeah, I think that would be my top three. If you like Tarantino movies, like the video, I think that's if you're a fan of Tarantino movies. Evelina says Braveheart is amazing. Braveheart is a very, very good film. It is a very, very good film. When it comes to Mel Gibson, he's been in a lot of good movies. I like there's some movies I really like, whether he's directed or whether he's um, been in it, like Lethal Weapon, for example. Lethal Weapon is a good movie. Well, also a good series, and he's produced some very good films. Yeah. Okay, guys. Let me know about series as well. Let me know let me know about series. If I had to say what my favorite three series are, I would say 24. I've always loved 24. I think this one, it's called Lucifer. You can find it on Netflix. It's from a comic book, I think, but they've done it really well on Netflix. It's a funny series as well. And number three, what would be my third favorite TV series? I think I'm actually going to go with a comedy, and it's a British comedy called Blackadder. So those would be my three favorite series. Um, Again, type of language I would say would be it's difficult to choose. So Oscana says it's difficult to choose. I love Pride and Prejudice, with Wuthering Heights, and Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind is a classic. It is a classic. Everyone needs to watch it at least once in their life. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn, as the saying goes. Actually, yeah, it is a very good film. I've just thought of another one. Your favorite actors, actually. Actually, yeah, let me know in the live. Actually, let's do that one. Let me know what your favorite actors are. One of my favorite actors, Al Pacino, has to be there for me. Yeah, Al Pacino. Um, Al Pacino. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is very good these days. I think Tom Hanks as well. I think those three are strong contenders. Actually, those three are very good actors. Um, Okay. So other things that we can use. Okay. So we can say, for instance, let's take some movies just to compare them a little bit. We can say, for instance, okay, Fast and Furious. Okay, Fast and Furious is more fast paced than, let's go with another type of movie that is all action. Just for the comparison, is more fast paced than James Bond, for example. Now, fast paced is how quickly things happen in a movie. Um, Sometimes people like it, sometimes not. I think, for instance, if you take something like Lord of the Rings is not a fast paced movie. Um, they tell the story. It takes a long time. You see character development, and this is an important one, character development. Now, I'm going to compare two things. I don't know if you guys like Star Wars. I really like the old Star Wars. I'm disappointed by the new Star Wars. And the reason is this term, character development. In the old Star Wars, there was more character development than in the new uh, Disney movies. Now, character development is how the character grows, the journey, the character's journey. So, if you look at Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, he didn't know how to do things very well from the beginning. You could see he had to learn, and part of the journey as going, watching these films, you went on the journey with the character. And I think that's why I liked the old Star Wars. For me, with the new Star Wars, I think the character development was too fast. So I would use this term, too fast. I think Rey, the main character in the new Star Wars movie, I think she develops too quickly. Um, Game of Thrones. It's funny you should say that, Leondina. I loved Game of Thrones for its thrilling storyline. Game of Thrones has a very thrilling storyline, but I'm going to talk about character development with Games of Thrones. So I'm about to just talk. I'm not going to give away the ending just in case people haven't watched it. But the one thing I would say about the ending is that I think the character development of the Queen, who ends up on the dragon, is too quick. I think I think the ending was done too quickly. Her character development, as things became more difficult, more worse for her, as she became more hateful and more angry, I think it was too quick. I think that would have been better if they had maybe. I think they needed another 6 episodes. I would have liked to have seen 6 more episodes of Games of Thrones, to be honest. Stefano says, when it comes to TV series, it's difficult to opt Good word, by the way. Opt, guys. In case you don't know, opt is to choose. There's another word for choose. Opt for this or that one. I'm always in two minds between Friends and Will and Grace, even though the first one is not as brilliant as the latter. Some very good English there, Stefano. For me, I think Friends is. I'm going to say this. Friends is the most watchable series ever, because it doesn't matter how many times you have watched an episode. If it's on, you'll watch it. It's always enjoyable. It never gets old. Um, Even if it's not really funny when you're watching it, it puts you in a good mood. I think that's why I would say Friends for me is the most watchable series ever. If you guys agree, like the video as well. Like the video if you think Friends is the most watchable series ever. Evelina says Mission Impossible. I liked the first Mission Impossible, and I would quite like to watch that one again. I think the thing with Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise gets a lot of bad press. So there's always something about him that's negative. And I don't look at that, and I watch movies to be entertained. So that's my position on that one. Leondina says, yes, I agree with you. The beginning is more exciting. I think this is to do with Star Wars, possibly. Okay, guys, so good stuff. We've now talked about films as well, and I'm going to finish off. I think we should do this again, actually, because I haven't even got on to sport or music. I think we'll do this one again, and I'll dedicate it to sport and music in the next one. But I think in terms of actors, which I've already mentioned, but I'm just going to say why I think my favorite actor of all time is Al Pacino. I think the reason is that every that he was in so many of his films. He this is it. His iconic characters. Okay, iconic characters are um, characters that you remember. Okay, now a character is a part. So Simba is a character. Darth Vader is a character. Frodo Baggins is a character. All of these are characters, but iconic are characters that you really, really remember. And Al Pacino, so many characters he played, they become iconic. And I think it's just because what he brings, like in The Scent of a Beautiful Woman, the way he says his lines. There's something about him that's really impressive when it comes to making iconic characters. I think another actor that is actually very good at creating iconic characters is definitely Tom Hanks. I would say the most iconic character Tom Hanks has ever played is probably Forrest Gump. I think that's the most iconic character he's ever played. Let me know about you guys. Who's the most iconic character for you? I think Russell Crowe has to be mentioned as well. I mean, look, Maximus Desmeridius is one of the most iconic characters ever. So much of that movie, so many scenes were just brilliant. Whether it's a fighting scene, a conversation scene, it was an incredible performance. So yeah, let me go. We've got 5 minutes left. Let me know for you guys which is the most iconic, or let me know what some of the most iconic characters you guys can think of. In my opinion, a really iconic character is Meryl Streep. Okay, she is an actress, so the actress or actor cannot be an iconic character. The person they play can be an iconic character. So, for example, okay, Rowan Atkinson is an actor. He played Mr. Bean. So, Mr. Bean is, I think it's fair to say, is Rowan Atkinson. Yeah. Rowan Atkinson's, Mr. Bean is Rowan Atkinson's most iconic character. Okay. I think it's fair to say, I think Mr. Bean is Rowan Atkinson's most iconic character. Evelina says Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. Let me know which is the most iconic character Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman have played. For me, I mean, Denzel Washington is an incredible actor. I think he's one of my favorite actors. I forgot about him before, actually. And Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman, which is the most iconic character Morgan Freeman has played? I don't know the answer to that one. Robert De Niro. Actually, Robert De Niro is fantastic. For me, I think Robert De Niro's most iconic character, I think, is the guy in Taxi Driver. Stefano says, I guess one of the most impressive actors who has, because have is plural, so has is singular, has played different yet well played roles as Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins, for being always so good at interpreting many diverse characters. That's absolutely true. Sir Anthony Hopkins is a what word can I use to describe him? What could I use? I think he's definitely one of my favorite actors of all time. I think I'm going to have to use this word, actually. I think I would use the word phenomenal. Phenomenal is extremely impressive. Extremely impressive. He's a phenomenal actor. And I think, I mean, I loved him in Zorro. The Mask of Zorro is very good. I think the most iconic character he's played is probably Hannibal Lecter. He's versatile. Yeah, he is versatile. Definitely versatile. Oksana, Once Upon a Time in America. Yeah, Once Upon a Time in America is a great movie. That is a very good movie. Actually, speaking of a film with America in it, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy, he's a fantastic actor. It's in his younger days, he was really good. I think the best film of Eddie Murphy's might be Coming to America. I do recommend that, actually, Coming to America. I recommend that. If you have not seen Coming to America, I strongly recommend it. Okay, guys, really good stuff. Well done, guys. If you have enjoyed today's lesson, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and share with friends that you know are interested in learning English. Let me know if you have any personal requests about next week's lessons or topics you would like to look at. To everyone in the live chat section, thank you very much for joining today. And well done with some of your comment with your trying to write in the live chat section. If any, don't forget, guys, if I am speaking too quickly, just let me know. Just write, just tell me, Richard, speaking too quickly, please slow down. That's fine, you can do that. You too, Evelina, you too, Oksana, thank you so much. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Bye for now.